Now, we're not going to go through all of the hazards in the DMG. That would just take up too much time, and I think you guys can read it and get creative, but let's talk about the Quicksand Pit a little bit. When you enter the quicksand area, you sink up to 1d8 feet, and you are immediately restrained, no save. On your turn, you're going to sink another amount. Now you can use an action to try and escape from the sand pit. That DC will be 10 plus however many feet you've sunk. So if you've sunk a lot, you're a little bit more bad off. And losing that action economy of having to pull yourself out or someone else having to pull you out could be the difference between you winning a combat or losing a combat. On top of that, if you are in the quicksand pit and have sunk, then you are going to be restrained. And restrained creatures have advantage against them. So imagine for just a moment that you put a quicksand pit on the character's side of a 60-foot gap, and you can just line them up, quicksand pit after quicksand pit. On the other side, you put a volley of goblins. Now, to get to them, the characters have to traverse these quicksand pits, and that is a very tedious and meticulous task, or they can burn a bunch of resources to make it happen faster. Regardless, anyone stuck in that pit is going to have advantage against them, which doubles the likelihood of getting a critical attack against them. Put 5 or 10 goblins on the other side with longbows, and you have advantage on all of those attacks, and that volley of arrows can already be deadly without the quicksand pit. With that extra hazard, it can be much, much worse. You can also include this in some kind of a falling floor trap. Say, for example, that you're having the characters cross a beam to get from one side of a room to the other. First off, you can make sure that underneath the beam is going to be a large pit trap. At the center of that pit trap, you can put a quicksand pit. So the way that this would work is that as characters are crossing that path in the center, crossing the beam, they have to make a dexterity save, and on a failure, they're going to fall 20 feet to the bottom of this pit. They'll take bludgeoning damage from the fall and will be immediately restrained by the quicksand. That can turn deadly very, very quickly and increases the dynamics and complications of the dungeon that you're running. So you tell me, what ways would you use the quicksand pit in your game?